everyone. Let us begin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Toonkind at 12 FPS. I am your lovely host, Carmichael, here with my co-host today, Nico. Say hi to the audience, Nico.
Hello, everyone.
And who will you be playing today, Nico?
I will be playing a new NPC who also happens to be an old character of mine. And they are called Denzel Eisen, an old fiend warlock who used
And
to
as per the... sorry, you continue. I
who
didn't realize you weren't done.
who while he does he used to follow the devil, and yeah. And who will you be playing?
Following the theme, I'll be playing the Devil, also known as Bell or Belial. Now, a foreword before we begin the FPS. The condition Bell is in this FPS is a direct spoiler to his condition that he will be in after the Code Breakers full game mini-saga. If you would not like spoilers to the Code Breakers saga, you do not have to listen to this FPS. If you don't care for spoilers and you just want to see him get hurt, by all means, keep listening. Nobody's going to blame you, least of all me. Because he's going to run into the angst sooner or later. But this is just a forward mention. This is also a note that if one is listening for where to put this in the playlist of all of our FPSs and games, canonically, this is going to go after the Bean Heist, which I believe is after Codebreakers. So do keep that in mind for those who are putting this in playlists. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And our FPS today is called Sorry, Who's Calling? Would you like me to set the scene, Nico?
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. So, we don't start anywhere suspicious, but I am going to roll 3d20 for the weather. So, this is going to be an Evray roll, but I do have physical dice for Bell, which I may be using later. This is just for the weather generally, so let me see where I put the DM's guide. If you've been following along with me, you know I like to use the weather table in the DM's guide for just that little touch of a lived-in world where the weather actually changes. So allow me to pull it up. That's not the section I was looking for. Give me a second. I believe it's 10. Oh, I found it immediately. If you would flip to page 109 in your Dungeon Master's Guide, or find it on 5e Tools, which I wholeheartedly endorse, 3d20 are, oh dear God, we're starting off with a nat 20, a 4, and an 8. Okay. Exclamation point, 1d4. Okay. That's a start. First roll of the game is a nat 20. Okay.
And watch as every other roll will be oh so horribly. Oh so horrible.
Remember to knock on wood if you don't want to let bad luck in. But the weather is flawlessly sunny and honestly rather toasty for the month. As this FPS is being recorded in the month of March, it's a rather toasty day for March. Nothing has really blossomed back yet. The weather is still recovering from the chill of winter, a mixture of rain and snow the past couple of months. And today has been one of the first hot days of the season. Unusually so, and that is about 10 degrees hotter than normal. For most, that's rather uncomfortable of a change, as is shown by the fact that one of the ones accompanying our dearest devilish little friend had to dress lighter and is slightly sweating under the weight of the hot midday sun. However, when we come back down to Belial, He is, of course, still in a public disguise, though it's not the same swan disguise he had before, and it's not the same as any of his others. And the disguise is of the physical sort, rather than of the magical variety, so it is very quite flammable. This... We're gonna do a 1d2. We're gonna see if it's the cat or the fox, so...
Oh yes, the cat or the fox.
He is once again disguised as a red cat, though instead of this being a spell, this is more practical effects. He's fond of those more than just using magic, but, I mean, come on. Who wouldn't be fond of practical effects? Who wouldn't want to keep the practice?
Yes.
And at the moment, he, as this reddish cat, is dressed as lightly as can be and is as content as a cucumber, with carrying bags of groceries back to a cart, at which point it's going to be taken back to EGAD headquarters. For this is their task for the day. Grocery shopping! More people have joined the guild, and as such, food continues to be an issue. Not an issue on money, just an issue on the fact that people have preferred snacks that they like. Other people keep stealing said snacks, and then they run out of said snacks. People are complaining, so the best thing to do to satisfy everyone in the family and house is to just buy more snacks. This is a snack run. Now, the driver of the cart is this big, heavy-set fella who just kind of gives Belle a bit of a thumbs up as he nods and then starts heading back toward the stores. There's nothing too important to be done on this day, but it's a quiet and warm day, and it's a day where Belle has a lot of thinking done. And thinking while shopping is, well, it passes time at least. But he decides it'd be nice to probably stop by an ice cream parlor, maybe pick up some tubs of ice cream. That'd be good. That'd be fun. Or an ice cream cone for himself and the driver. That would be delicious, actually. That'd be great. He's gonna do that. How long do you think it'll be of him doing normal things until things change? Would you like to give me a timer?
Yeah, let's go.
Because I have a timer here. I can actually set one.
Let's say about maybe 10 minutes.
Alright, so let me reset this timer and edit it real quick. So, a 10-minute timer. There's going to be no alarm since we're recording, and we don't want people to have a loud whistle in their ears.
Yeah, that would be quite rude.
And we're going to start the 10-minute timer. So Belle, of course, makes it to the ice cream parlor. And it's a humble place. Pleasant. It's colored in pastel blues and whites, with a touch of yellow and pink here and there in accent colors. It looks very much like a 50s style sort of ice cream diner. You know the kinds. The kinds that have the big brightly painted signs, they've got the stand-ups, they got the tiled floor, and the hand-painted windows, and the chairs, and the tables, and the jukebox.
Yeah, I know the ones you're talking about.
And the first thing he does, of course, is he is going to peruse what ice creams are available. So his eyes are caught by the fact there's ice cream cake on sale, and that's tempting. That's very tempting.
But can he eat an
But he's going to
cake
focus
by himself?
Well, now that you've said that, now I have to roll and see if he's tempted to eat an entire ice cream cake by himself.
Because if he
Above board, I'll say he's done it before, but like,
what's that
temptation.
Yeah, but it's also like, if he gets the cake, then people are going to expect him to share.
True. Though, I mean, there are some people who have treated themselves to entire ice cream cakes. I've known people that have treated themselves to entire ice cream cakes on bad days, so you know. We're going to roll the physical dice for this one. Can Belle resist the temptation of using part of EGAD's budget to buy himself an ice cream cake? This is, we'll say it's a con save. We'll say it's a con save. If you hear any of those sounds, by the way, that's me kissing the physical dice for good luck. Don't worry about it. And a con save for Belle would be... scrolling back. 18. He is thankfully able to resist the urge to spend some of that important budget that Ollie trusted him with to get a cake. Even though it looks really nice It has a really well decorated top, and it's Neapolitan flavor. And focus! He focuses. He focuses. And
Mm.
he's just going to order a couple of cones while he's perusing the ice cream tubs that are on sale. And the cones that he orders a rather plain but still large vanilla ice cream cone for his cart driver, who above board is Mihail, our lovely Russian friend.
Mm-hmm.
And for himself, he orders. Let me look up some ice cream flavors, actually. I do indeed want to find some. Also, if you happen to hear me cough, I apologize. I have finished recovering from a cold, but allergies, for some reason, blow this year. I don't get it. Is it because we have 7 cats under one roof? I just don't understand. So, vintage ice cream flavors. Because I don't want to get him something too modern and weird. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Oh my god. I hope I just read that wrong. I hope I just read that wrong. Don't tell me. Okay, so 12 unique vintage ice cream blends. You want to know what's at the top of the list? Do you want to guess?
I'm going to assume something slightly racist.
No, guess an actual food. Just once. Just guess.
Uh, chocolate.
Why would you? No. Chocolate's a normal flavor. This is not. But thank you for your one guess. It's oyster.
Hmm.
Oyster ice cream. For most, ice cream is meant to be sweet, but years ago it was also savory. Oyster ice cream, referred to as oyster cream in heirloom cookbooks, that's so much worse. That's so much worse. Is believed to have been popularized by Mary Randolph, a renowned cookbook author. To begin with, the oysters need to be soaked in water. The juice was then strained into a bowl alongside eggs. After it was mixed, oyster ice cream needed to sit in the freezer for a few hours. Ah, oh dear God. And in the 1600s, you used ambergris to make it?
Oh, how
To make ice
delightful.
cream? Made from sperm whale puke, it has a slightly musky and sweet taste. No, thank you. We're scrolling past that one. No, absolutely not. No, no, no. Oh, this one sounds nice. French Violet Sundae was a favorite for some in the 18th and early 19th century. That actually lines up with his childhood. Few scoops of vanilla ice cream would be placed into a sundae cup and topped with a sweet violet bisque. Yeah, we're gonna go with that one because most of the others sound fine and normal. I do not want to imagine oyster or ambergris ice cream. So he's gonna order himself just a French Violet Sundae because that sounds nice.
Hmm.
And of course, the lovely salesperson behind the counter nods, and it's going to take just a few minutes for the ice cream to get made. He's perusing flavors, the normal flavors. He's perusing the normal flavors, the normal flavors. And he'll go with Rocky Road, Orange Blossom. There's apparently a tub of Hawaiian ice cream. That's nice. He actually gets that for himself. Cherry Coconut. And, vanilla and Neapolitan.
Hmm.
Someone's gonna love Neapolitan at the treehouse.
Or at very least pick out the
What?
flavors they like.
Yeah. So, he gets these rather small tubs of ice cream and he gets them all nice and set up while waiting for the store person. Points them out, and the store person, of course, manages to pack them up, gets the ice cream cones ready. It's because he's buying a bit more ice cream than he usually does, it's a little more expensive, but thankfully, because this is a cartoon and it's a vintage cartoon, the price for the ice cream is not ridiculously high. I miss when inflation didn't make everything expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he manages to get the ice creams, And of course, he gets himself that lovely sundae. He gets the big ice cream cone for his buddy, and he brings those back
I'd like to
quickly because it is a
say
hot day. Mhm.
now would be a great time.
Actually, we have 2.5 more minutes. I'm checking the timer. 2 minutes 30 seconds.
Mm.
Sorry. Do you want to stick with the timer? Or do you want to stop the timer?
Let's stop the timer, because
Okay.
for it to happen now, I just think it's too funny.
So I assume now is the point where his hammer space starts vibrating.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, he's just walking back down the street towards the cart, and there's just a shake, like a physical vibration shake to his waist, and he kind of pauses. Now, keep in mind, he is disguised as a cat, and he is wearing clothes, so it looks like his pocket is vibrating. But him personally, he knows that his hammer space is in his fur, so that's his entire lower half. He kind of pauses, continues walking. It vibrates again, pauses. He manages to get the ice cream, most of it, back to the cart and just keeps a hold of his lovely sundae. And then he's going to hurry off to an alley because okay, this is weird. This is weird. Why is his hammer space vibrating? So he gets to that place. He gets his lovely sundae set aside. He's going to reach into his hammer space. And I'm going to roll the physical dice for this. Please, please let me fumble. I'm begging you. I'm begging, I'm begging, I'm begging, I'm begging, I'm begging. Let me fumble, let me fumble, let me roll a 1. Just this once. 2! Oh, so close! So he reaches in and he pulls up a phone. Now, the phone that Belle has is a very specific kind. It's one of the long stem old fashioned kinds that have the lovely little kind of cup for the microphone, so to speak. It doesn't have a cord and it appears to be ringing. And the way it rings is specifically it rings in 3 sections of 6 rings. So it's
Mhm.
because haha, 666.
Yep.
And he of course is going to politely and with some air of confusion pick up the phone and go, "Hello?"
Ah, sir, how wonderful of you to pick up. Are you currently? I assume you're currently free at the moment, or no one sees you, right?
Belle is going to glance around. His ears kind of flick. I am in private. Yes, may I ask for the purpose of the call?
Uh, face-to-face meeting, and a portal is going to open. Let's say at his
Presumably
feet.
under. Oh yeah, just I'm imagining the circle is drawing himself as he's talking on the phone, and he
Mhm.
doesn't notice until he notices the smoke, and there's just like, and then he glances down and goes, "Oh, that's neat," and then immediately falls through it.
And he ends up in what appears to be an office of some kind. Like maybe a politician's office, like someone fancy. And it is oh so trashed. Like chairs are broken. There's clearly been signs of a fight. You know. And
I'm sorry, I made a roll in secret. Continue, continue.
one moment. Ah, my mistake. Yeah, okay. And at this, and standing in front of a desk, holding the phone, appears to is a Hausen tune. You know, what looks to be a smart dress, like smartly dressed, that's been ruffled up from clear signs of fighting. And yeah, one of the things you do note is, well, there are two things of note. One, he is missing his right arm from basically most of the shoulder down. Two, there is a huge puddle of ink coating the floor, especially where this figure is standing. And he's just going to hang up the phone and turn to look at Belle. And he's just going to give a polite smile, the one that's very much a case of talking to a higher up. He goes, "Ah, sir, I had worried that you had been disposed of."
So, what he sees when he turns around is first and foremost, I was rolling to see how intimidating his entrance would be without him fully trying. That was the secret roll. The dice rolled a nat 1. So, thankfully, he did not see his entrance because he just sort of plopped into being. The smoke is still there. There's the dramatic smell of sulfur. The sulfur's just a consistent thing with him, though.
Mm-hmm.
Brimstone, dragon's blood, the smell is there. It smells like him. And his entrance through incinerated his practical effects costume, so unfortunately, the physical copy of the cat disguise is now gone. And he does look like his true self here. The dark red fur with the light red face, belly, hands, feet, you know, that kind of thing. The ear, the goat-like ears, the scruffy hair. The one full horn and the one broken horn. From his now notorious defeat on the Isles by the boys, though mostly only those on the Isles know. But he sort of stands there slightly confused for a minute, and then hangs up the phone also. And I'm going to roll him a memory check to see if he can recognize this guy. So we're going to roll a memory check. And thankfully, because there is no more static influence in this FPS, he does not make it with disadvantage this time. So it's just a normal intelligence check. So, does Belle recall who this guy is on looks? Intelligence check. Give me a good roll. Come on, Percy. Does Belle recognize this guy at first? Yay or nay? That is a nay, though he is going to still smile just as politely. I mean, I do believe there have been a lot of rumors as to my death and destruction, but I'd find most of them to be exaggerated.
You'll forgive me for having to remove your gift, because while it was oh so wonderful, I needed something else to call you here. And he's just going to gesture to where his arm would be if he had it.
Now, thankfully, the confusion isn't present in his face, though you can see the way his ears do droop with concern at that, because, oh, that's a freshly removed arm. Ah, the ink is his. Oh. So it's more a look of concern rather than confusion, but I don't recall people needing to mutilate themselves to summon me, but I do appreciate it. Though I do wish you didn't have to harm yourself to see me.
Yeah, well, considering the fact that you had vanished from the face of the Isles in the past year, stronger methods were taken, but do not worry, I can still be of service. And do notice that on the table is clearly a spell book. Like, well, it's a tome with Bell. I assume Bell has or had a symbol of some sort.
He still has a symbol, and his symbol is very traditionally it's a pentagram. It's a pentagram. It's either a pentagram or a pitchfork. They're interchangeable.
Yeah. So yeah, there's also a tome, like an old worn tome, bit splattered with ink. It goes, yeah. It goes, so would you care for a drink? I believe he just looks around at the he just looks around at where he is. He goes, I believe the person who owes me a favor that they owe me. Well, they wouldn't mind if I helped myself to some of their drinks. And you
May I
watch.
roll an insight check?
Sure.
Okay. Would you like me to roll the physical casino die or a Vray for this one? You could choose.
I'll let you decide.
Physical dice it is. Insight check, because this is certainly a scene for Belle to suddenly be stuck in with no way out. This is neat. This is
Make me a
normal. This is
perception check.
okay. So
Make me a perception check while you're at it.
okay, so that's a 17 on insight on our lovely mysterious stranger here. How good or bad is his vibe?
His vibe is quite bad, but not directed at Belle. It's like, ah yes, I've just, burnt down this building for you, sir, as you requested.
Okay, the perception check. Okay. He gets nothing to his perception checks, unfortunately. That's the funniest part. So many other good stats. His wisdom is a freaking 0. It's a 0. And that's a 10! That's just a 10 on perception. That's the same as his passive. Would a 10 succeed or fail at perception?
Let's see. I will say that a 10... You do notice that the closet's slightly open. Seems to have been caught on something. And you then watch
Won't
as
investigate.
the ink on the floor begins to slowly rise up into the shape of a large arm and hand.
Oh.
And it's then going to just surge forward to the right, to where there appears to be, the stereotypical drink cabinet.
Oh.
And it just crashes into it. And it just crushes most of the drinks, and this stranger he seems to wince, like, apologies, I'm still getting used to this new attachment. And it's just the arms are slowly opening, revealing lots of shards of glass. Thankfully, one in fact, bottle, as it just slowly comes back. And he just plucks the bottle and seems to struggle to open it one-handedly, as this arm doesn't seem best suited for delicateness.
Bell, hoping to put his mind off of the closet being ajar, he can probably glance in it when he gets up. He's not going to outwardly investigate, but he can glance. He's going to get up and offer, if you will allow me.
Very well. And he's just going to hold the bottle. Like he's holding like the base of it so Bell can just unscrew the top.
He does, with a single claw. Just plink.
Yeah, so he's just gonna pour it in and he just pour some into some glasses or into a glass on the was on the table, and he's just gonna offer it to Belle.
He'll take some, sure. He just gives a smile and a nod.
Yeah, so
Takes a sip.
it's just some, fancy adult drink.
Yeah, very, presumably expensive and pointless.
Yeah.
He's used to those.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of carefully takes his seat again.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Like, as he's doing this, the arm just kind of melts back into ink, just falling back onto the floor. There's now... The glass just seems to melt into it.
Internally, Belle's bad news alarm is going way the fuck off the charts. But externally, he's playing along. Externally, he's playing along. Just internally, there is a siren going off, and it is telling him, leave, 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 leave.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to stay seated, and he's going to start to say, so you are somewhat aware of the situation surrounding the Isles, then? I have an explanation for that if you're willing to hear it, but it's not necessarily going to be a clear one for you.
Oh. I just had assumed that after your defeat at those two hooligans, that someone took the opportunity to just help themselves to...
You mentioned the two hooligans, and his temper is fine. He manages to keep control of it. You can slightly hear the way the claw slightly grinds against the glass, but it's a subtle thing. Your ear just barely picks it up. He just takes a longer sip.
Yes, yeah. So I assume that after what they did, someone took the opportunity to imprison you. No one else was able to make contact with you, so I did some research to summon you forcefully, if you forgive me for that. As hopefully
Believe me, I could be plenty forgiven.
So what did happen?
After those two defeated me, I took some time back at base to think on what I had done incorrectly in the situation. Losing to two small children is not a bragging right.
No.
And something had to go wrong along the way. But I had other concerns. So as much as I wanted to get back at those beautiful little brats, I had other concerns. Particularly, someone was sending me messages in the form of nightmares and trying to deprive me of my rest. Now, you know as well as any, nobody thinks too rationally when they're sleep deprived. So I was trying to get through it, well, being half there and half in a blind mixture of rage and betrayal at the fact that the Isles turned me into a laughingstock. But completely off the topic. Off the topic. But I realized that there was indeed a source to it. And it was a source that... how do I put it? Had not dealt with in a very long time. I didn't want to trouble anyone else at the casino with it, so I started investigating it privately. I didn't want to let anyone know that I was preoccupied with anything else, so nothing was said. Eventually, I found something that perhaps could aid me in the resolution of this problem, without the need of dragging any attention to it. And I pursued it. I pursued it underground to an unfamiliar, yet not unknown location. And there was something of an incident. I don't blame the minions for fighting. We'd all been losing some sleep, but I had been putting them to work a bit too harsh as of late, so bound to argue amongst themselves over who was doing something or who was doing what. You know how the imps get. They tend to wrestle and fuss and fight.
Yes.
I was trying to talk to my target, and they were not really giving me the chance to do so. When I tried to interrupt them, they activated one of the traps. Why does my father have the TV on so goddamn loud? Jesus Christ. I hope the yell from the living room TV did not translate to the microphone. That would have been really creepy sounding.
No. Well, if it did, I didn't hear it.
Part of me was imprisoned. Not all of me, but part of me. And unfortunately, that part of me was very crucial to my being. So when I tried getting away from it, and I escaped, the body reacted more in a mortal way than an immortal way. And as a result, due to physical pain, the mind entered a sort of lockdown state. If you tried to contact me before that point, if anyone tried, I never heard it. And I don't know if it had to do with the trap. And his claws are still grating against the glass, but he's maintaining composure, loosely. Or if it had to do with the effect of the static over my being, but eventually it was resolved. I am not proud of how long it took to resolve, but it is resolved now. And I am currently being, we will say, safely secured while the rest of my memory returns to me.
So what would you...
So...
Oh no, you go first, sir.
So I apologize if you needed me for something important sooner and I did not respond. I don't know that anyone could contact me in the condition I was in, or that you would want to see me in that condition. You have my utmost apologies.
So what would you have us do with the two brats? Because we've managed to roughly figure out where they are.
He kind of drinks for a minute, and he's drinking I assume it's stupidly expensive whiskey. Just like... What?
Yes, they have made... Well, they're currently taking... Well, they've joined a fun little club by the looks of it in some old fool's adventuring guild. Wouldn't be...
I'm gonna make him another save real quick.
It wouldn't be too hard to... Well, there's always the ever oh so classic accident to befall the tree.
No.
No?
Let me explain the situation you found yourself in. And he sets the glass down. Calmly. Calmly, mind you. It still has the scratch marks, but calmly. I have also run into the two little boys. And I currently have them convinced I am of no issue. If you try to make any moves on that guild, or that tree, or those boys, none of them are going to trust me to keep me safe until my memory returns. You understand.
Make me a charisma check, as
Okay.
he is ve-
Charisma check. Charisma check. Just a base charisma?
yeah.
Would you like the physical roll or an array roll? Your choice. I'm not telling you what the number is, just tell me if you want the physical roll or if you want me to roll a array.
The physical.
That's a 2 plus 3. That's a 5.
Sir, while I must disagree, it would be far more suitable and safe for you if you were to recover back at the casino. The last thing we need is your reputation being ruined even more by them. After all, to see the devil gallivanting and playing hero.
That's a disadvantage wisdom saving throw. Oh, honey, we're in it now. Eisner, right? That's the character's name, right?
Yeah, Mr. Eisen.
So Mr. Eisen, right. So Mr. Eisen has, I believe he's worked for the devil for a long time, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So he knows when he's messed up in a conversation or not.
Yep.
He's messed up. Because there is a moment standing there. Belle has been maintaining a polite composure, a courteous feeling. Okay, audience member, I think all of his servants know he has emotions. He's known as one of the most temperamental ones here. Is that most people for his temper. But I appreciate your joke. I appreciate your bit. And you recognize that maybe that was something that should not have been said, as that dark red fur begins to bristle like dark fire. And his normally round black pupils turn to very familiar paper-thin slits. And what makes you think I'm playing hero, exactly? What makes you think they can dampen my reputation any further than it's already been dampened? Do tell. And you don't even need an insight check. You hear do tell as in, choose wisely what you're saying next. Choose very wisely. This is a very familiar temper to you, but you do realize, Eisen has indeed messed up. It's a 3-strike system. If you make 2 more mistakes, you are past tense.
Mm-hmm. Well, think of it this way. Your reputation before they came along was one. Well, we all know what it was like, and for you to lose, and then to be seen alongside those who defeated you. Well, people may assume that you've gone soft. That after your defeat.
Oh no, that's another disadvantage. Oh no, that's another disadvantage. Oh no. Continue. Sorry, continue. I'm gonna roll the physical dice for this one. Oh no, continue.
That after you've turned over a new leaf. Hell, you might even be interested in redemption.
I'm so sad I can't take a photo of the dice. Okay, that's not the same number. I thought I rolled the same number twice. I thought I rolled 2 10s. That still is disadvantage, mind you. But that was a success on the physical die, so that's good. In the case of avoiding murder. Bad in the case of, well, bad in a case. Not in the case. A case. But I just informed you I've been staying undercover while recovering from being hit by a trap triggered by one of my minions. A powerful pre-erasure trap. What part of concealing myself from mortals while I recover would give you any implication of me being soft?
My apologies. And he's just gonna roll an insight check real quick. That's a 22. He does not fucking. Like, this is very clearly like. He is.
Do you want me to tell you what a 22 gives you?
Sure.
The first thing is he's not quite lying. Because when he first arrived at EGAD, it was a matter of he didn't believe he'd be staying that long. And he didn't even believe they would house him. So he's been maintaining disguises and masks and faces. Most people don't recognize him when he shows up. And yeah, sure, in the disguises he's been spun around, but it's been difficult for anyone to recognize who it is underneath because, for the first several months, he was a black and white rubber hose who, couldn't talk and tap danced to cast spells, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was in disguise. The only time anyone remotely started recognizing him out and about was during the Goldwyn incident, when he would lose his disguise and would mostly help in dispelling the static. However, there was an agreement had with the town of Goldwyn that his involvement was not to be publicized, and the full responsibility of Goldwyn's salvation and the dealing with of that ancient vault was to go to EGAD and the members that had accompanied him. However, while he's not in truth lying to him, he's being very truthful in that he didn't know how long he'd be staying, and he's mostly been maintaining disguises because he doesn't know how they'd react. There is something there. And it's not it isn't quite softness. But why does he have the TV so loud? As a heads up, I'm really just double checking. You can't hear the living room TV through the microphone, can you? Making sure. Sorry, I believe he's watching The Mandalorian. Boy, that's a loud show. That or he's just going half deaf. I don't say that meanly, just like, either way, that's loud. Woo. Anyway. There are a couple things that aren't being fully discussed. It's not that he's lying outright, but there are some things that are not being shared in the conversation that would probably be important. But as mentioned before, there's a subject he's been dancing around, and Eisner has no way of knowing if it has to deal with EGAD or with that problem he discussed. There is something there, you just don't know what it is.
But why EGAD? Of all places.
He shrugs. It was an accident. I was on the road, moving from place to place. I got found by someone and dragged there. I didn't think they'd house me for as long as they have, but here we are. And he's going to reach back and take another drink.
So what will your plan be moving forward? Because have the missing piece back now, I assume? You're just waiting for all the pictures to return. For everything to come back, correct?
He'd pause a moment, then nod. What is that? And he's gonna glance back. I hope there's a window in the room.
Yeah, there's one behind the desk. It's currently...
And he's...
You don't recognize where you are.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, God, great. He's been teleported somewhere he can't get back from. Neat, cool, neat, cool, neat, cool. But he's gonna look out, just to carefully walk over and avoid the gigantic puddle of ink that was presumably there.
Mm-hmm.
Carefully step around it, tail just waving here and there. And the one thing that can be noticed, you don't even need to make a perception check, is that the body is still recovering from wearing the disguises less. As you can tell by the fact that his big, beautiful bat wings are still somewhat crooked and still need to recover from being bound so often. And his tail is still returning to that lovely curved line it has, instead of being slightly crooked from being tied around his waist so much. Clearly, he's been disguised for a while, but he's not wearing them as often now, which is a good thing. But still.
Yeah, because you're close now, make me another perception check.
Oh boy, okay. We're gonna do we're gonna do Array this time. So character sheet, perception. Oh, that's right, you get nothing. You get nothing! Good day, sir. 12!
Looks like you see a shoe sticking out from the closet. A shoe that's attached to something.
Dell's going to walk toward the closet.
I wouldn't say I haven't had a chance to properly clean up. It was quite messy after my last meeting.
I'm gonna roll him a coin flip. 1 he does, 2 he doesn't. He glances back, and there's a moment of hesitation where he considers it, and it's obvious he considers it. The camera angle is right, the focus is between Eisen, and it's between the closet. There's the glowing golden eyes in the dark. Just juxtaposed against the light of the window, and just... He steps away from the closet.
Eisen is just gonna walk on over, using his foot just kind of half kick, half nudge the shoe in, and then just...
An ear twitches.
And then just shut it. As he does so, you can clearly hear things fall down in there as whatever it is he put back in is now, been forced more in, disturbing whatever was in there.
The ears sort of twitch and flinch, but otherwise his expression remains the same. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know of the name Tahia? And with that, roll a religion check.
Religion...
I would hope you're proficient in religion, seeing as you're a cultist, but let's see.
10.
Funny enough, 10 is actually the basic necessary, so yeah. Tahia was the devil that ruled before Bel came back. Tahia was believed to have been a Toon Devil, but was revealed not to be. but was signed by 24 years ago, back when he first took the throne. She ruled for some centuries uncontested and was responsible for ruining most of Toon Hell with her leadership. She was also supposedly responsible for snuffing the Hellfire in Hell itself, though nobody really knows whether she did it intentionally or if they were snuffed when the last devil died. But the Hellfire came back when Bel did. She was known as a tyrant, oppressive, often called a dictator, and generally, altogether, bad news even in Toon standards.
Okay, then.
You don't get much more since you got a 10. That's just the very basic knowledge.
Ah, yes. The one you replaced. What about them, sir?
Apparently, she came back.
Hmm.
Hence the problem I'm dealing with.
And you...
She's the one responsible for sending me nightmares.
Ah. Are you hoping to send the two after her?
Oh, absolutely not. She'd mow them down easily in this condition.
Hmm.
I don't have much of any information on her whereabouts or what she's up to. If she was on the Isles, I assume that would have been spoken of. If she was making herself known, the news would have spread. So she's hiding as well. Though why she'd be hiding is beyond me. But the spell that she was using, Dream, according to a druid I spoke to, can only be used when someone is on the same plane as you, meaning she is here, in Zatori, somewhere. The issue is I don't know where, and I don't know why she's playing cat and mouse. I mean, she was a known sadist, from what I'm hearing, but... And when he says, from what I'm hearing, you can get that he doesn't actually remember everything about Takia either, but again, you don't have the full context as to how he lost his memory to begin with, so you know. I was hoping to find out more about her whereabouts and her actions while I was with Egad. Unfortunately, nothing much has come up.
So your plan, while the greatest threat to your throne, to your rule, has returned, and your current plan is to just see what she does.
No, the current plan is to find her and find out what she's up to. I'm not waiting for her. She sent me nightmares for damn near 5 years. The most I'd want to see her is back in the dirt! He clears his throat a little. Smooths down his fur a bit. You said you've had contact with the casino?
Yes.
In the back of his mind, he's like, I have a casino? Just in the back of his mind, it's like, I have a casino? So I believe you're in contact with my other servants?
Mm-hmm. Especially your favorite.
I need to roll him a memory check at that, actually, to see what he assumes it is or if he remembers. Come on, give me a memory check. Please remember Flunky. Please remember Flunky. For the love of God, remember Flunky. Please! And there's a moment he kind of thinks and he goes, Flunky?
Yes. Wait, nah, Percival. Percy.
his head tilts at that. And I need to roll again. Audience member, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, audience member. Because he does remember some encounters with Percy, but I need to know if he remembers enough to be offended that he's being called a favorite. Come on. Does Bell remember enough to be insulted at the concept of him being called a favorite? Please give me a high number. Not the best. Not the worst. Intelligence is... that's not bad. It would be history normally, but that's the exact same number. He's not proficient in history, unfortunately. You see his head tilt and he goes, Percy?
Was he not your favorite? Considering how much you spent with him?
Here's a blink. I'm going to roll an insight check. And since this is post-Codebreakers, the insight gets advantage. Because he's reading heart, not head. That's not a fantastic insight, that's a 12. No, wait, that's a... Hang on. Right, the number's... 15! What's a 15 get him? Is this a respectful or disrespectful tone, basically? What's a 16 get him?
This is very
Or
much
50,
a case
50.
of... sorry if you can hear the... lawnmower or the leaf blower in the background.
I cannot.
Okay, good. This is very much a case of... He doesn't... Just so we're clear out of character, Percy is the King Dice XP, right?
He's a die head.
Yeah.
He is a die head. And he is indeed partner to Bill. Romantically speaking, and also business speaking.
Yeah. This is very much a case of... He doesn't like or seem to approve in the slightest, like... But it's a case of... It's, you know, it's like not his choice.
The ears pin back just slightly. That's strike number 2, but I'm going to roll his temper check without disadvantage this time. Honey, give me just a minute. Sorry, there is a lovely little fur baby at the door, and she may be insistent on coming in. The ears pin back, and you realize you are on strike 2. What about him?
Nothing, just...
Insight check on that! Hey, so what's a nat 20 plus 6 get me?
This is very much a case of... It's like... He... Oh,
You're allowed to be an ass. It's okay. It'll only get you mildly roasted by the fire of hell.
He just...
I say this with a smile and with jest.
doesn't. He doesn't prove or like of Percy at all. So it's like he seems to, from what you can tell, that like he doesn't think you know, your partner should be your business partner.
Going to file that in the cabinet in the back of Belle's mind, labeled "Thanks to incinerate a man over later." Puts in whoever this guy is, and just names a folder, and then just tucks it into a file cabinet in the back of his brain. The goat ears are pinned back and the eyes narrow, and you can see the way that the air just slightly darkens around his face and shoulders in that magical way. The cartoon lighting of a ominous evil look, a la Cinderella or something, where the eyes remain well lit, but the face does not.
Okay.
You are on strike 2 above board. Eisen is officially on thin ice.
So what do you remember?
It takes a very long moment for the ears to relax after you ask that, mostly because of the concept of what the tone was before. Acting like a servant but still disrespecting co-workers is not exactly a good work ethic. But let me go back down. This is not the right document. There you are! Okay, give me just a minute. I need to go through the list. And he glances down for a minute. Back to the glass, which he still has, but it's now empty. He needs a refill. But he just looks at the empty glass. I remember being chased out of Goldwyn when I was just 13. I remember the death of Alexandria. And the death of my mother, coughing her lungs out due to the rot. I remember a long, lonely road before being picked up by performers. I remember a bath. A nice bath. Made of a dark type of red stone, warm to the touch. Smelled nice. Cathedrals and consecrated grounds do not get along with me. 3 siblings annoyed me and refused to leave my house. I remember a black fiend blowing apart someone's buggy with their children and family inside. A storm and a barrel. Stealing. The excitement of a theft. Disguising as someone's pet cat to try and collect what they owed. And he adjusts his grip on the glass as he holds it up. Holding a man's head in my hands. Quietly. I remember rubber chickens and buckets on my head and pranks around the casino. I remember the storm and the barrel and being thrown overboard. I remember the costume I used to have.
Do you remember what you gave me?
It is a very, very long before he says, no.
What about my name?
No, names have been difficult. I didn't even remember Flunky till just now.
Do you remember what I even do for you? What?
You remember me telling you earlier that I was split into two for a hot minute. How much memory do you think I'm recovering here?
Obviously not enough.
I would love to recover it faster, but I've been told not to rush it, otherwise that could lead to a mental shutdown. And that's the last thing I need, is to be shut down twice.
Feel free to make an insight check.
We'll do a fray. We'll do a fray. Boy, the tension in here is so thick you could cut it into a donut. My god. So that's an insight check, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 2d20 plus 6. That's a dirty 20?
Very clear, like, the respect this figure has is very clearly starting to fade.
Why did you summon me here?
Sorry about that one. Okay, back. Could you repeat what you said, please?
Why did you summon me here?
To see what state you were in. And I suppose... Suppose a resignation would be in order. I... I'd much rather not work with someone who's... You really are good at falling.
And you really are good at showing disrespect. When I hire someone, anyone, I make sure the workplace is solid. I would think a strong memory, a strong impression, would lead to someone sticking in my mind even when the worst happens. Yeah, the work I do isn't pretty. It doesn't sound pretty. And the more of it I'm remembering, the uglier it gets. But my workplace is solid as stone. And considering how you have been speaking about those I would have assumed to be your co-workers, it is not as if I would want someone with your attitude issue to work with them to begin with. I also do not recall limbs needing to be lost and things in closets needed to summon me. And I am sorry for that.
The closet. That's just from a disagreement. I simply just wanted to call in a favor. He was acting all high and mighty. Believed he didn't owe me anything. The
He's
limb.
gonna glance back to the closet.
Well, the limb was just a sacrifice for something greater. And you see, as he just seems to close his eyes and concentrate, as the ink seems to reform into where his arm would be, to an almost perfect copy of Belle's arm, except
Uh-oh.
made of pure ink. As he just looks down at it, it's like, what you gave was useful, but in order to get you out, I simply needed more. And with his other non-ink hand, he's just going to pick up the book. And he's just going to draw a page from it. And I found some small town in the middle of nowhere. Very interesting. Something that could help you change your design. And he just holds up the paper, of which this is what appears to be a design of him, except where the right arm is, looks like someone's poured ink over it.
Is it design of Eisen or is it a design of Belle?
Design of Eisen.
Ah.
And while it is messy, it is much, much stronger. And he's then just going to put the page back. And just pick up the book. And just slide his ink hand over the cover. And just remove the symbol. There, yes. Consider this my resignation. And the portal's just gonna appear behind Belle. And it's like, now then, this is the last thank you I'm going to give you. You may take the portal back to where you were. And, well, I assume our next meeting, if there is one, will most likely not be so civil.
The ear is pinned down, and there is fur. At least, it isn't the first time ever. He's borne such serious faces before, but it's been a hot minute. Hot minute. But it's a solid glare, and he's going to glance back. And does the portal actually look like it leads back to the alley, or can he not see the other side?
It leads back to an alley. You assume.
He turns toward it, but pauses for a moment. and then continues through the portal back to the alley.
And
I would hope it leads him back to the alley.
it leads you back to the alley.
And I'm assuming at this point his poor sundae is melted.
So yeah, it's been melted. The flies are very much enjoying it.
Yeah, Bell's just going to wait until the portal disappears once he's through.
After like a few moments, it disappears.
He's gonna pick up the glass, and he sees, of course, the flies are unfortunately very much enjoying their bath of violet and ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to make him one more temper save. That is a disadvantage roll. Charisma. No, that was wisdom. Wisdom was his temper, I believe. No, was it? Either way, the modifier is still better.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to make him one more die roll. And I need to actually mute for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just had to make a dice roll. And he just watches it for a minute. He was actually looking forward to the ice cream, that he got sucked away to some condescending little prick trying to talk up to him, trying to flatter and please him and disrespect anyone else he talked about. The gruesome scene, the body in a closet that, oh yeah, right, he doesn't know where that is, so it's not like he can tell cops about it. Not that he'd want to tell cops, he'd tell somebody. Doesn't know where that town was, doesn't know how he put him back, but somebody's apparently quit, so someone he doesn't remember has made an enemy of some kind, who's apparently found a machine that can change design, and apparently was mad enough to cut off his arm for a summoning ritual and turn it into ink. Well, cut off his arm for a reason, whether it was the summoning ritual or just for transformative purposes. That is a verbal reminder. Was it for the ritual or was it for the just self-improvement?
Self-improvement.
And Belle is going to, first and foremost, carefully and politely dump the now melted and fly-infested ice cream and its recyclable container in the nearest recyclable instance. And I'm going to roll one more coin flip. Odds he gets himself more ice cream at the parlor, evens he just goes. And while the morning would have been nice, the day would have been warm, and it would have been perfect to just get that lovely ice cream again, go back to the cart. He doesn't. He doesn't get ice cream, and he doesn't go back to the cart. Or to Mihail. Or to headquarters. Instead, he's just going to storm out of town and head into the nearby woods. While poor Mihail at the cart is just waiting there wondering when Belle's gonna get back so they can drive their things home. It isn't until a few hours pass that Belle hasn't reappeared that Mikhail finally gets the thought of, huh, maybe I should ask and see if he walked home before me. That would probably be nice. I'll find a payphone or something. And it's only when he finds out that Belle did not, in fact, take a long road back to the treehouse that, Belle's disappeared. Uh-oh. That's gonna be fun to explain to the treehouse when he gets back with the groceries. Do you have anything to add on Eisen's Inn?
No. Well, back on Eisen's end, it's a case of he helps himself to a drink and is then just gonna walk out the ink. The ink just forming back. Well, the ink's still in the form of his hand, so he's just gonna walk on out. And yeah, as he just leaves the office in its destroyed state.
Leaves the crime scene.
Mm. And yeah, that's all he will do. And I believe this seems like a good place to stop. Unless Belle's gonna do anything else.
Oh no, Belle is up and waltzed on off. Belle has currently disappeared. And Mikhail is not gonna have fun explaining the confusion behind that. Because he's just like, oh, we were just getting groceries. He hasn't come back from bringing back ice cream. Huh. So yeah, that would be the tail end of it. Eisen does, however, know a couple things from that encounter.
Yep.
Belle is recovering his memory, but he's at least regained some part of his power and is getting it back still. However, Tahia is also back. It's just a matter of he doesn't know where she is and wishes to find her, hopefully to eliminate a threat before it becomes an issue.
Yes. So, thank you everyone for listening in. Thank you, audience member. I hope you've all enjoyed it.
Remember to stay 6 feet apart, maintain social distance, wash your hands, 3 square meals a day, and stay clean, healthy, and happy. Remember to get your daily dose of vitamin D, vitamin C, and vitamin B. Get the sunshine in your window, and get those good hours of sleep. Have a good night, everyone.